Hello everyone, once again back to my new episode of Hero Podcast. In today's episode, we have Biko Somuah with us. So before starting, let me introduce about Biko. Biko has worked with some of the top-notch companies and currently she is working as a client solution manager at LinkedIn. Apart from that, she is a certified life coach and working and helping people to reach their ultimate goals. So welcome to the show, Biko. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Great. It's a Sunday, it's the weekend. So very relaxed day today. I feel
All
great.
right.
Yeah, thank you.
So I tell you one thing, okay. So when I started my podcast, you were my, top five list of guests. So I always want to be, do a podcast with you. And today is the day. Finally, you are on my podcast. And I just want to, say thanks and excited to take this further, right? So shall we start?
Yes, we can start.
Okay. So generally, first question which I ask to everyone is all about how it all started, how you fall into the career of client solution manager. What was your story? Over to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more related to my path within the tech industry. So I used to work in a startup in Berlin, which was also a tech company. That was my very first job after university when I was finishing my master thesis. And that's how I got to know the tech world. And through that, my next step brought me to Salesforce, actually, in Dublin. And there I was working in the sales department in different positions. And this ultimately, like for 3 years. And after Salesforce, I actually got led to LinkedIn, the client solution manager role. Came after my role at LinkedIn Learning, where I was a relationship manager in Dublin. And then I wanted to move back to Germany, which happened. And then I started as a client solution manager, where I consult companies how to optimize their campaigns, how to optimize their marketing on LinkedIn. So this would be my role. Yeah.
Okay. So if I ask you, like, Biko, when we are at young age, okay, so we all dream in different way, okay. Suppose if I tell you about myself, so when I was young, so I always thought like I would become a cricketer, right? And I always dream, okay, I can, play with Sachin and all. So I never thought like I've been into, I will fall into the career of project management. So like, how was you as a child and, in your very young age, and what do you think like you always think that you're going to become a businesswoman or something, or what was your thought like in your very early days of life?
Yeah, so business was one thing when I started university, because I studied business administration, my bachelor's, but my passion was always more into humanitarian topics, development topics, how to help other countries, or also political topics. This is something I was always passionate about. So I always had the urge to do something where I can have an impact and help. And as I proceeded, I had different views, because I just realized a lot of how we view the help, where it has to come from external support for other countries, it has to come from internal. And this is something I learned in my master studies in Copenhagen, where we really realized, so the countries we are talking about as, I say, quote, developing countries, because it's developing is always a definition based on our Western countries, right? So I don't like to use that word. So what we realize is these countries actually have to have the ability to help themselves based on what they need, based on where they are. And it's more on a business perspective, they need the resources to create businesses, to create their own, but also even when it's in agriculture or whatever it is, they have the ability, the knowledge, the power to do it on their own. It's sometimes just a resource issue, how things are provided and so on. So my view shifted a bit. This led me also just to continue the path in a business area, but my my desire or my passion to still help or have an impact is still there, but it just has changed in how I want to do it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you mean like when we, been through our journey, so we find different things, and then we find, okay, this is something which is good for me, or this is something where we can choose, the right option. So that's what you are saying. Apart from that, if I ask you, because like, during this journey, any challenging situation you have faced, because we all know, like, being as a person, whoever it is, so we all face some kind of challenge situation in our life. So any situation you have faced also, and how you overcome from that, if I ask you.
Yeah, on my part, I mean,
Yeah, during your journey, whatever the challenge you have faced, like in your education, while you are doing education, or like when you're professional career, anything, yeah, if you have faced.
yeah, I mean, there are always challenges coming up. It's just a matter of learning how to deal with it. During university, one challenge that may come up for a lot of people is, am I studying the right thing? Is this really what I see myself doing? Because I studied business and administration in my bachelor's, which is
Yeah.
a lot business focused, finance focused, money focused as well, right? And growth focused. So as I always had the desire, okay, but I also want to make an impact on humanity, right? The question is, are you doing the right thing? But the good thing is I could use my bachelor degree, and then I studied in my master's business for developing countries and emerging markets. So I combined what I actually wanted in my master's studies, right? So sometimes it's always good to evaluate again whether this is something that sets your soul really on fire, or are you just doing it just to do it, right?
Exactly.
And sometimes it's always important to redirect yourself after some time, just to see, okay, maybe this is not 100% the best for me, so how can I continue on a path where I'm more aligned with my passion?
Exactly. So
Yeah,
we need to do
this
some
is
kind of
definitely one challenge.
analysis. Yeah, we need to do analysis of ourselves, okay, right, whether I'm on the right direction or not. And the point you have mentioned, that is, 100% I agreed on you, because I've seen, a lot of people, they choose their education system without any, doing analysis. Okay, if I talk about a lot of, bachelor students, they go for a BTech and they are not very sure about their education, whether they are on the right direction or not. And once they complete that, then they realize, okay, this is not what I made of. Okay, I need to do something else. So like when we are choosing something, so we do need to do a proper analysis. And I agree for myself as well, because I also face the same challenge when I was in my education. So I also face the same challenge, whether whatever the background I've chosen, right, I've chosen mechanical, so whether I'm on the right track or not. So yeah, I agreed on that. So your point is all about, we need to do a proper analysis, and just think whether we are, are we on the right direction, or we are doing just for sake of doing it. Yeah, all right. So now my question is all about, like, while talking to you, I got to know, like, you have been, in different countries. So like, Ireland, Germany, and if I talk about, your education, so you have, studied in Turkey, Denmark, so different countries. So how was your experience, okay, in different countries, and which country you find the most interesting, if I ask you?
Yeah, I had different impressions during my stays in different countries, which is why I definitely always recommend traveling, because it changes you as a person, and also living in other countries totally changes you as a person as well. So it opens your mind definitely to other cultures. Turkey was one of the best experiences, because I had my mind made up of how Turkey is, but when I was living there for 6 months, I had a total different experience, right? And it was a beautiful experience, because it's a very rich culture with a lot of history, and one of the most welcoming people on this planet, I think, right? They are very welcoming, they are really friendly, and they have a great family bond among each other as well, but also with friends. So this is a very warm culture. This is what I really loved. And Denmark was also beautiful as a student to study and experience. I had family there as well. It's great because I could see my cousin and aunt more, but also in terms of experiencing Scandinavian culture and Scandinavian people was also very beautiful. They are also very beautiful, you know. And as a student, it's one of the best places, I think, to study, because you have different activities that you can do, different things. And so I had different impressions. We also spent some weeks in Uganda when we were doing research there during my time studying, and this was also a whole other experience. So travel travel in general, I would say, is a huge aspect to widen your horizon.
Exactly.
It changes you as a person, and especially spending longer time there also makes you opener to just go and experience other cultures in not your own terms or what you expect or what you think it should be, but just go there and let the people show you how it is, right? Let the people show you how they live, and you can learn something from it.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. So I'm just imagining about the Turkish people, because I never met them, and I found them a bit strange as well, because I bet watched some of the videos and all about Denmark as well, a bit. A couple of my friends who are living in Ireland also, so Germany as well. So one of my brother's friend also lives in Germany, so I know a bit. But you told me, like, Shom, Turkey is something which is a totally different country, where people have a warm culture and all. So, like, so what about their English culture? So they do speak English, or like most of the people are used to speak in Turkish only?
I think when I was there, I don't know how it is now. It could have changed. Yeah. So during my time, it was more Turkish, and the English was more on the university campus or among some people we know, but Turkish was still mainly the language, which is also a super rich language, right, to learn. I didn't spend so much time there, and I didn't get to learn Turkish, but I think anyone who makes it and learns it, it's definitely a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And when we are talking about the beautiful thing you mentioned, so something came up in my mind is all over, like, in which country where the people are most beautiful? Yeah, if I ask you.
I would have said Ghana now because I have Ghanaian heritage. But no, I mean, and a lot of African countries. And I can't even like really say, okay, one country, because there's beauty everywhere for all the people, right? But definitely some African countries I've been to, like Kenya, Ghanaian people. I've traveled, but even Turkey, people are very beautiful. Scandinavian countries, they all look like models, right?
I see. Yeah,
So
because
really,
I need to,
like Denmark, Sweden, they all look like models. But
actually,
so this is what I've experienced so far. But if I have to choose one, I would have said like one of the African countries.
Yeah, because if you give me suggestions, so maybe in future, if I get a chance, so I'm definitely going to work for there. So, just to meet to the beautiful people. Yeah. Anyways, so, moving to my, next question is all about, you're a certified life coach. Okay. What impact you want in people's life? That's what my question is.
What impact I want to have on people's life?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so the life coach part is something that is really related to this passion and desire I talked about, to have an impact on humanity. So it was always within me. So one day I want to have an impact. I want to do something. I want to help. I wasn't sure what. I wasn't sure where, and so on. So when I came on a spiritual path around 3 years ago, or 3.5 years. And this led me also to have a life coach, right?
Okay.
And I received coaching myself, and it was spiritual life coaching with a lot of meditation practices, talking about the universe and who we are as a soul, having this human experience. And it changed my life, but also books I read. So the impact it had on me is the same impact I want to have on people, right? Like helping people to discover who they are and what their purpose are, because no one is here by accident on this earth. We all have a purpose, right? But sometimes we haven't connected as much to ourselves yet to realize it, or to realize our power, because there's so much noise around us and so much conditioning. But everyone, as soon as you, I would say, free your tunnel, right? And really connect to the soul that you are, we see that the universe, God, gave us so much gifts, power, that you are actually here to use, right? Or to create something, or to have an impact. Or just, it can also be that you just impact people with your light and your joy. That's also a purpose, right? But it's my aim actually to help people to recognize that within themselves. And
Exactly,
that's why,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
so you talked about the purpose. So like if I ask you like how can we find the purpose of our life? Any idea you can give us, yeah? If you have, yeah.
A hint is always what your passion and desire is. You know, sometimes you would say, you would see people and they were always into music, or it's their passion, it's actually something they burn for, but they decided to maybe go for a business job because someone told them you can't make money with music. It's just a few people that can do it, right? So the fear actually keeps us maybe to follow this passion. But you can also combine business and music at some point, right? And go into the music industry and do something there. But a lot of times there's a fear within us. Oh, I feel there is something. I feel I have a passion for something. I feel there's a desire. It's fun doing this. And actually, I feel like I could share this also with other people. It's always about what can I share with other people, right? But there's a fear in me that I'm not good enough in that, or that I couldn't survive with it, so I don't do it. So it's always a hint of passion is easy, right? Passion or desire or what you really like. When it's your purpose, it's easy, it flows. Not easy in the activities or what you have to invest in creating it or creating that purpose, but you just feel like, this is meant for me, right? But sometimes there is a fear within us. Yeah.
So do you think like this kind of hint, everyone can find in their life, or everyone having that kind of hint in their life, or what do you think? Like, as every person can find their hint here?
Totally. And it's all about also trying out new things, right? If you
Okay.
feel like stuck in your routine or your daily life, for example, or some job that you're doing, or anything, it's about trying out new things that interest you. And then you try
Exactly.
out new things. Some things would be like, this is nothing special, maybe just a hobby or something. And then other things like, oh my God, this is what I always wanted to do. And I'm so good at it and it fulfills me. And actually, this is something I can share, right? So
Yeah.
it's also about thinking out of the box and overcoming the fear of new things and trying out new things.
Yeah.
And there you can have this hint of, oh, okay, this is something I actually really want to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you have very well explained, Biko, because I can connect that with myself as well. Just, a year back, I was also, working all other my jobs and all, but still I'm just, finding the new things and all. And the main reason is all about, starting this podcast is always, I just want have an interest to, share a knowledge with the people so that I can help in people life, right? So that's why, the one thing which you have mentioned is all about you have to explore the things, right? Without exploring you cannot know, okay, this is the thing which can be an interest of mine, or this is the thing which can be a good for me. So that's a great point. If someone wants to find a new thing, or someone thinking or doubting themselves, okay, is there anything which is good for me? So for that, you need to explore a lot of things. You have to find different new things, try, and then you get to know, okay, this is something which really good, a bit interest of mine, and then we can move ahead with this. Any hack, if I ask you, like any productive hack you want to share for the entrepreneurs who are watching this podcast, for their productivity? Any hack? Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to add, like, one of the main things is also taking actions, whether it's small or big, because a lot of things start in our head, right? And this is the first thing, like, this is the first step of creativity. You have an idea, and then you manifest it in the material world, right? The idea, you bring it to material and manifest it. So it's like taking action, no matter whether it's small or whether it's big. And sometimes we get too much caught in this big thing and like, oh my God, this is huge, what I want to do and how do I go there? It's really about enjoying the path. As soon as you enjoy the path and have your flow, and this is where you creating the idea, and you are forming it on the path. You're forming, and then you get to the goal that you want to do. And sometimes it looks different or similar to what you imagine, but it will be the right thing based on the path. So this is something that has helped me. So really, I have a goal, and this is how it should be. But until I get to this goal, there's a whole journey. So I don't want to suffer through the journey because I haven't reached the goal, right? It's really about enjoying this journey. And enjoying means enjoying things that can go wrong, things that work, and then redo things, restructure. And this is the fun part of it, right?
Yeah. Absolutely correct. Yeah. So now moving to my next question is all about like how about Indians? Like, do you know any Indians or anything about India? If I ask you.
I've never been to India, but it's also on my list because I know India has a rich culture, also in terms of spiritual traditions. Like there are a lot of Indian practices worldwide in the spiritual community. So I am so curious to travel, to learn about it, but also just to experience the culture, to let Indian people teach me about the culture. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
This is one of the main things, and it's very colorful. Like every time we all know Bollywood movies, right? I know it's always colorful, the attire, but also the dances, the movement, the sound, and everything. It's
it's one of the most diverse country. India. And if you get a chance, I'll definitely want to welcome you India, and I'll take you out to different places as well. So that's all to me. And apart from that, you have mentioned about the Bollywood as well. So have you ever watched any kind of Bollywood movie in your life?
I remember. I told you about the one Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, right?
It's a Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. So you watched that,
Kabhi Khushi. Yes, exactly. That was the very first Bollywood movie. I think it was the very first that was hugely advertised in Germany at that time. It's a long time ago, and they showed it in German television. And that's how everyone got into Bollywood movies in Germany, right?
I see. And that's one of the most emotional movies. So I think you have seen that movie, so you also got emotional, right? And I tell you, like you're saying something, go ahead.
No, I said totally,
So, and the actor which played the role in that movie is all about Shah Rukh Khan, and he's one of my favorite actor. And recently, last week, it was his birthday, and I throwed a party to my friends and family just because of his birthday. Did you remember any kind of dialogue in Kabhi Khushi and Kabhi Gum? I mean, any dialogue which you think is interesting, or anything which you found most interesting?
I think the most emotional part was when they lived in London and they returned to India, right? And because the grandma, I think, was dying or died, so they had to come, and then the family had to be reunited. And when he and his dad actually reunited again, and everyone, and they accepted the wife again, and so on. I think that was the most emotional part. And it's also a big lesson that sometimes sometimes some arguments we have or some clashes can be solved earlier or much easier, right? We don't need to go through it, right?
Exactly. So, and our friends and families are the one for which we got into a conflict many of the times, but we don't need to forget they are the one who just who always think positive for us, and who always think a better luck for us. So those are the real one. So that's really interesting thing you told me. Your was Kabhi Khushi Hai Kabhi Gum. Now moving to my next question is all about how do you look at life as a person? What for you as a life?
I look at life, that's a good question, as as a pool of opportunities, right? So if I look at life, I don't know what tomorrow will be. I can learn from the past and so on, but there is so much I can do, so much I can create, so many opportunities, so much possibilities, so many opportunities to enjoy, to live, to go out and experience new things. And that's how I look at life. And if things go wrong, it's just a redirection, or I just learn out of it, right? But it's totally different to how I was in the past. But now I look at life as so much growth opportunities, so much opportunities to experience the earth, the planet that we live in. It has so much to offer, and I have so much huge respect of it, right? That I like, oh my God, there's such a richness on this planet that we are here now to experience, and so many things that we can create tomorrow, right? And that's why it's a pool of opportunities. It's a pool of beautiful things waiting for us, right?
Yeah. So every morning you wakes up, so you always excite about the new day, right?
A lot of days, but I also have days where I'm like, okay, not I don't feel excitement right now, but then I just think, okay, what do I need? Maybe I need some good breakfast, some good music, and so on, and then I'm back, right? So it's also a thing, like, this is also part of life. Life is not always excitement. You have some days where you're like, okay, I'm not in the best mood, and so on, but it's part of it. It's part of it. So I wouldn't say it's bad or not, it's just part, and then you just see what you need. But even then, I still look at, okay, what can I do? What do I need? And often, every day, what do I need to do for where I want to be soon, you know, for the goals that I want to reach. Yeah.
Okay. And if I keep aside your professional tag, okay, let's keep that, client solution management. How do you look in a life as a person? Like, who is Biko Somuah? If I ask you, if I keep aside that, professional tag, so who are you as a person? Yeah.
Who am I as a person? I'm a very, let's say, curious person about life, about people. I like to definitely grow, learn a lot about people, connect with people. And I feel like one of the main things, I want to leave this earth while having made an impact, right? An impact on humanity, an impact on people, an impact on myself, my family, like in terms of what I created before I go, right? This is how I look at life. And just I look at life also in a very positive way. So I would say I enjoy having fun, I enjoy having different experiences, and I'm also very playful, which is also a big part, like, of us, being playful, being joyful. And I also have a lot of gratitude within me that I can be here at this time, right?
Obviously, and if I tell you, the word you have used multiple of times about the impact on humanity, right? So if I add up something over here, because to be very honest, when I met to you as well, so that's something really an impact on me as well. Like, as a person, I got to know about you, the kind of positive vibes come from you, right? Whenever I talk to you, whenever I meet to you, so those kind of positive energy is really hard to find today's world, right? Everyone is in their own drama, everyone is their own problems, no one is looking life in that positive way. So that's why whenever I talk to you, I got really I got really excited, and always talk about a fun thing and all. So that's how you create kind of impact. So you talked about, and I just want to say honestly, so that's really impact on me, and that's how the people going to impact the other people as well. So that's a compliment from my side for you, right?
Thank you, and I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you.
So now finally, advice to young ladies who are in their early or mid 20s, how to be a strong, independent woman.
Yeah, I think the main foundation is to really find yourself of who you are, because in this world, we learn, or we are conditioned to imitate people, to have a certain role that is given to us, or a certain life that is, or a script that is presented to us of how we should live our life or how we should be. But everyone came with the unique gift, and everyone is different. So the moment you know yourself, and you don't care about what other people think, or you don't care and compare yourself, and you just love the way you are, that's the power. And that's the moment you get confident, right? And you just your own. And this is where then your power also comes through to the path you really want to go, what you really want to create, what you want to do, or where you want to work, whether it's in a company, in a corporate world, or whether you want to do your own thing. You get the power and confidence for it, that it is right for you. So we all have this inner knowing of who we are, right? It's always just a fear of really expressing our true selves the way we are. So everyone has the inner knowing. So my advice is to follow this inner knowing. Where are you not being yourself today, and what can you do tomorrow to express it more? Whether it's speaking your truth, whether it's doing something really job-wise that you like, that you want, or whether it's the network or friends that you interact with, to evaluate, okay, are these my real people as well, right? And in everyday life, evaluate every aspect of your life and see, is this aligned with who I really am, or do I need to realign and change it? And that's how you get the confidence, because you just focus on stepping out as yourself in every area, right? Yeah, that would be my advice
to all the young ladies, yeah, who are in their early and mid 20s. So those who are watching my podcast, so it is one of the best way Biko has explained, like you need to be very true to yourself. You need to analyze yourself every day, and just think whatever the best thing for you, whatever the career you want to go, just go in that way without thinking what others are going to be thinking, because this is one of the things which restrict most of the women or ladies to go in their respective path, right? So that's very well explained. So I would say, like, it's a great experience to talk to you, Biko, and thanks for joining me on the podcast. Do you want to say something about this podcast which has started, about Hero Podcast? Yeah.
Definitely, thank you for opening up this channel to invite new people. This is exactly what we need, like a platform where people can bring their creativity, their ideas, their work, and speak it out, for all of us to hear. Yeah. And sometimes this is also healing, just spoken words from someone can impact you and inspire you to do something. So definitely, thanks a lot for creating.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for those words, Biko. Wishing you all the best. And thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining this podcast, and stay smart, stay wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.